Morning, students. Today is Monday, May the 18th, 2020. Obviously, I pressed present prior to this. Also, before you go into it, this isn't going to be the first slide you see. The first slide you see is actually going to be the video presenting this PowerPoint. But this will be the first one after that video, obviously. So your goal is to make sure that you're reading and completing any links inside this PowerPoint. There are 2 links in which you have to complete. You must watch the YouTube video I'm presenting with the video, so you're going over the different things I'm teaching you, and a reminder that links are always underlined. In this video, I actually have another video linking you right to YouTube for something when it comes to theme. So there are a few assignments today. One's going to do with theme, one's going to do with your grammar skill, which is going to be comparative and superlative adverbs. And then we're going to go over Module 8. We're going to do a nice little review of Module 8 throughout this PowerPoint, as well as introduce you to something you're going to be doing on Wednesday. And then I'm actually going to hold back on the practice test until next week so that everything is easier for you come next week and we're not starting a whole new module because our last official day is May 29th, which is 11 days away. So I know you're excited. That's actually only 3 ELA lessons to go. All right. So this is what we've been doing, and we've been touching on comparative and superlative adjectives. Comparative is going to compare 2 people, places, or things. All right, and we're either going to add ER to those adjectives that are 1 or 2 syllables. If they're more than 2 syllables, we're going to add the word more before that adjective. Superlative adjectives, we said compare more than 2 people, places, or things. We kind of have to assume sometimes that they're comparing more. If it's 1 or 2 syllables, you add EST to the end of the adjective. If it is more than 2 syllables, you add the word most, M-O-S-T, before that adjective. Sometimes you have that Y at the end of the adjective. Make sure you change that, drop the Y, add the I to form that comparative or superlative. So we also talked about good or bad. All right, good and bad have special comparative and superlative forms. Good's comparative forms are better, and then its superlative form is best. All right, and then bad, its comparative is worse, and then its superlative is worst. And it was good to do the Google Hangout last week and go over a Kahoot with this with most of you a week ago. And this week we're going to be comparing adverbs. Yes, adverbs do actually compare. So we're going to look at comparative forms. All right. And when we're doing comparative, we're simply adding the word more in front of the adverb. All right. Remember last time we did adverbs. It was a reminder that adverbs love you. They end in ly. They love you. Love you. Ending in ly. So make sure you're pointing that out when you see these adverbs. All right, most of your adverbs in this session are going to involve the word more. That's going to compare 2 things. We wrote more happily about the morning sunrise than others. Means we're writing about this morning compared to others. All right, so we're comparing 2 things. All right, and then you'd add that superlative of most in front of the adverb to make it superlative. We wrote most happily about the sunset. That means you're comparing it to more than 2 things. All right, obviously this is just most happily about the sunset. All right, so add that most, and then remember adverb love you right there, that ly. All right, it sticks out there for you. All right, so let's practice together. Use the correct form of the adverb in parentheses to complete the sentence. Identify whether each is a comparative or a superlative. So if I'm looking and said we spoke blank about leaving our home, then leaving this city. So my adverb is sadly. All right, would this be more sadly? Am I comparing 2 things? Or am I comparing more than 2 things and it'd be most sadly? Well, let's say it out loud. We spoke more sadly about leaving our home than leaving the city. Oh, there's my 2 things. All right, leaving our home, leaving the city. So if it's 2 things, it's a comparative. So it'd be more sadly. Good job. All right, so we're on, and this is the page in which you're going to try to do by yourself. But I'm going to do number 2 with you, and then I'm going to let you do the rest of the page. All right, so we left blank when my brother told jokes. So I'm going to have this adverb happily. Which form am I going to have? We laughed blank blank when my brother told jokes. Well, there's no comparing things here. It's simply a superlative. Alright, so this would be most happily. Good work. Alright, so what I want you to do is I want you to complete numbers 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Pause this video, and then we will review over it. So pause the video, complete 3 to 7 now. Yeah, I'm watching. It should be paused. Number 3. Jenny cheers blank about our big trip than I do. Alright, so Jenny's cheering more than I do. Alright, so this would be more excitedly. It's a comparative. It's comparing two things, Jenny and I. Alright, we will have to travel blank than on our other trips. Would this be more carefully or most carefully? So if I'm traveling now and I'm comparing it to other trips, it'd actually be comparative. So I'd say more carefully. Good job. Number 5. I worry blank than my little sister. I'm going to add this word seriously. Alright, and this will be more seriously because I am comparing with my sister. It'd be comparative. Number 6. Dad talks blank to us. Well, is this comparative or superlative? Alright, and that's comfortingly. Yeah, good. That's most comfortingly. Alright, and number 7. Mom says we will travel blank than other families on the Mr. Key frontier. Good. Alright, so if I'm comparing, is it comparative or superlative? Yeah, this is comparative, and it'll be more bravely. Good job. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to click on Grammar 4.3.3. Here's my link for that. Alright, if you're hearing background noise, it's my wife cutting up something for lunch, I think. I don't know what she's doing. It's very exciting sometimes, though. She every day is a new adventure here at the Key household. Alright, so you're going to go click on the Google form. Alright, and you are going to type in your name. Alright, so if your name is Tylea Goodman, you're typing in Tylea Goodman here. And I tease Tylea for the past couple weeks here because she keeps clicking that I am her homeroom teacher, even though it's Mrs. Woodbridge as her homeroom teacher. Alright, so make sure that if your name is Tylea Goodman, you're typing in TikTok Ty Ty, and you're clicking who your homeroom teacher is, which in this case is Mrs. Woodbridge. Some of you it's Mr. Key, some of you it's Miss Polly. Just make sure you're clicking the right homeroom teacher. It's easier to sort that way. Alright, so I give you what the page is. Page is going to look a little bit different than what assignment I am giving you. Alright, so just be aware it's going to be just a tad bit different because I can't do everything that the grammar page can do. I can't do that all on a Google Sheet. Alright, so it was reminded comparative is more, superlative is most, right before that adverb. So it says write the adverb in each sentence, then write C next to its comparative, or S next to it if it's superlative. So, people traveled more carefully along the trails than they did on the flat prairies. So I have to look for the adverb, and my adverb in this case is more carefully. I know that because I see the love you, and I see the word more. Alright, L-Y, and I see more, so I'm going to type in more carefully. And is this a superlative or a comparative? Well, if it has the word more, it's telling me it's a comparative, so I'm going to write the letter C next to it. Alright? So what you're going to do is you're going to complete the rest of the page for that assignment so you can see where the certain comparative or superlatives are there. Alright, bottom it says to type the correct form of the adverb in parentheses. So this is saying this is a superlative and happily. So this would say children played blank when they felt safe. And since it's superlative, we had the word most happily. So children played most happily when they felt safe. And then you're going to complete the rest of the page and then press that submit button. So you can pause the video right now and complete this page. Yeah, keep it paused. Good. Don't try to cheat. I'm not giving out answers. All right, so press submit when you're done, and then come back to the PowerPoint. And we're back to the PowerPoint. These are vocabulary words that we went over last week. I'm not going to dwell a lot on them, but I want to just quickly make your mind think again. All right, so our first word is sponsor. Say it. Good job. Next word is generosity. Say it. Good work. Next one is goodwill. Say it. Good. Next word is grateful. Say it. Good job. Next word is exception. Say it. Great. Next word is sensible. Say it. Good job. And that's the end of our vocabulary words there. Alright. And last week we went over context clues. So when you come across words you don't know, you have to look for words around it, which are hints to giving you that word, the meaning of the word. Context clues include synonyms, antonyms, definitions, and examples. Alright, we did mahogany, which was a reddish brown wood last week. We said the dog is affectionate because it likes to cuddle and lick my face, and we all know licking my face by a dog shows that they care about you. Anything else? A little weird. Alright, but it shows affection. Alright, there was a huge controversy among my friends yesterday. I'm having trouble thinking about what that word controversy means. Alright, so let's read on. We disagreed on whether to spend the afternoon at the movies or in the park. Well, first off, you probably can't do either right now. Alright, because we're quarantined still. But let's act like we're not quarantined. Alright, so a controversy would be kind of a disagreement because they disagreed on wanting to spend the afternoon at the movies or in the park. I would love to go to the movies right now and see that movie Scoob. Yeah, Scooby-Doo movie. I know it's on TV, honey, but I don't want to spend $24 to buy the movie. Alright, see, my wife is trying to get me to buy Scoob. She's probably going to win, too. Here's our Latin roots. Alright, and we have our Latin roots of VOC, which means a call, and JECT, which means to throw. Alright, so many words have origins in Latin, so these are my Latin roots. So knowing the meaning of these Latin roots are going to help you understand new words that contain the same root. Alright, so if we look at VOC, we have the word call. Alright, vocal and vocabulary have something to do with that word call. Alright, we have JECT, which means throw. Projected and eject have something to do with the word throw. So we're going to come across these words later on, and we're actually going to do a worksheet on these come Wednesday. Alright, so I'm going to come back to this one on Wednesday. Last week we asked and answered questions about Inside Out and Back Again. We also went over elements of poetry and how figurative language makes it special, like similes and metaphors, and then we also had imagery, which we kind of focused on last week more, as well as those sound devices. Alright? This week we're going to talk about theme, and there's actually going to be 3 slides with theme. I know, Mr. Key, what are you trying to do with me? You're trying to, torture us. But no, theme has been our biggest issue over the past few months, so I have to really dig deep on theme. Alright, so let's keep practicing it. Alright, so remember, theme is the lesson or the message the author wants to share with the reader. Alright, so to get to the theme, you can ask questions about the main character in the text. What are they doing? What is happening? So we have to think how the character's actions reveal what he or she is like. So we have to think about what they're doing in the story, how they react to something, how they act towards something. Alright, we have to think about what the main character learns. So think about the challenges the main character faces and how they're going to respond to that. Sorry. So we have to think about what the main character learns. We have to think about what the challenges the main character faces and how they're going to respond to it. Alright? The main character in a poem, we have to understand, is the speaker. Alright? Also known as the narrator. The speaker's point of view is going to influence how events, experiences, and feelings are described throughout your story. Alright? Poems usually have a single theme, that means one theme, and sometimes a certain phrase or sentences or even a repeated word is going to tell you what that theme is. Alright? With a collection of poems like our story here, the poems will all contribute to the theme in some way. So when you do your work today, you're going to be focusing in on the first couple of poems and how they're developing this theme. Alright, so good readers are going to take into account the word choice, events, feelings, and the speaker's point of view when determining a poem's theme. So make sure you're paying attention to the poem's theme throughout. Alright? So here's my video on theme for you to enjoy. So pay attention to the video closely. Oh no, it didn't work, Mr. Key.
Enjoy this movie, then visit brainpop.com for much more. I'll take the R2 unit. Come on, Moby, how many different takes do you need? No, I don't want to switch roles. Dear Tim and Moby, how do I figure out the theme of a story? And why is finding the theme so important anyway? From Bob A. Thanks for the questions, Bob. A theme is a central message or idea woven into the action of a story. Themes give a story meaning by linking the fictional world with our own. They comment on issues from our everyday lives and from the wider culture. They're a huge part of what makes films and literature so fascinating. If you've ever read a fable, you already know a simple type of theme. Fables always include a moral, a lesson about life. Take the tortoise and the hare. The hare is always bragging about how fast he is, so the tortoise challenges him to a race. The hare is so confident, he stops to take a nap halfway through. Slowly, but surely, the tortoise passes the hare and wins. It might seem like the story is all about speed and running. The larger message is that patience and determination pay off. The race is used to communicate a lesson that can be applied to real life. Themes are usually more subtle in movies and novels. It's easy to be wowed by spaceships, aliens, and princesses, and those are essential parts of the Star Wars story. But to find the themes, we have to read between the lines. Well, not literally. We have to look for patterns or ideas that come up frequently. The repetition of a word or phrase is a good sign you're onto a theme. We call those recurring words or images motifs. The Force is one big motif in Star Wars. We learn more about its symbolic meaning each time it's mentioned. Well, like at the beginning, the Force seems to be just a magical power. But over the course of the series, we learn that it's much more than that. It's a universal energy that connects all living things, and a spiritual balance between light and darkness. Themes are often set up as pairs of opposing ideas, like with the Force. At its most basic level, it represents the struggle between good and evil, but it's also about nature versus technology, the tension between instinct and logic, or the choice between freedom and destiny. And they sound complicated, but those themes are all right there in the movie. We find them by analyzing the story elements. For example, we can examine lines of dialogue, what the characters say. Like when Darth Vader calls the Death Star a technological terror. Then he says the colossal weapon is nothing compared to the power of the Force. His comments set up technology and nature as opposing ideas. Plot, the action in a story, is another great place to hunt for themes. Okay, Moby-Wan, I will use the Force. I will trust my intuition. We did it, R2. We destroyed the Death Star. Right, Luke is successful because he relies on the Force. His natural instincts are victorious over destructive technology. Well, in a great story, all the elements work together to support the themes. Look at the settings in Star Wars, where the action takes place. The Death Star is massive and spotless. Like a lot of advanced technology, it feels sinister and cold. Compare that with the Rebels' ships. They look and feel lived in, like a home. Even the costumes support that contrast. Stormtroopers wear masks, and their uniforms are totally rigid. They look more like machines than people. Compare that to the rebel outfits, what we good guys wear. Our clothing is loose, comfy, and made of organic materials. Well, appearance is a key part of characterization. That's all the ways a character is portrayed, how he looks, speaks, thinks, and acts. Remember when we first meet Mobi-Wan? He lives a simple life, not surrounded by gizmos and gadgets. He's a respected Jedi Master, but unlike the bad guys, he's humble and has a sense of humor. Yeah, those themes really resonate in today's high-tech world. Anyway, let's get this place cleaned up. Dad's gonna be home soon. What? You are my father? No! 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 Visit us at brainpop.com for more on this topic and hundreds of others. You'll find movies, games, quizzes, and activities. Learn more about the difference BrainPop can make.
Alright, so one thing I noticed with that is that the repeated word kind of definitely gets into the theme of the story. So obviously the theme, one of the big themes of Star Wars is the Force, and they repeat Force over and over and over again. Kind of like I was asking you to check for those repeated words and phrases when it comes to your poem. Alright, so your job today in ELA will be to complete this theme form. Alright, so you have to go onto the link. Obviously you can follow my anchor chart here, and you click on the forms, and in your form will pop up. You'd obviously have to type in your name, who your homeroom teacher is, and then answer these 3 questions based off of page 215 of Inside Out and Back Again. This is a close read of this story, so you can get themes. So it says, what challenger does the speaker face? Remember, the speaker is the main character. What are the challenges they're facing, how they embrace it? What feelings does the main character have, and how they express her life in the United States? And then obviously, what lesson or message is the author developing in these first few poems? You have to think about a theme or that moral of the story. For example, right, what is the author trying to teach me here? There are examples. You can overcome challenges. You can be loyal to your friends. You can cooperate to achieve a goal, or you don't get too cocky like the hare did in The Tortoise and the Hare. Alright, so those are all different types of themes. So you have to go in, you have to complete this form, alright, and then submit when you are done. Make sure you're checking out for grammar as well, and answering these questions in question-answer format. Remember, you also will have a reading log to complete on Schoology. So this is how you are marked on your reading log. So make sure you're giving 6th grade work. Include multiple sentences with proper grammar use. You're graded in grammar, sentences, and content to your answer. So 2 is how you get a perfect score. Grammar is perfect, has the title of the story with correct grammar, which means your title is underlined and things like that, and has 3 or more sentences. I'm getting a lot of 1s and 0s recently, so check out and make sure you're doing a 2 score in your reading log. Alright, I give kind of an example, but not really. Alright, in the Monday's log, I want you to tell me about a character in your story, and make sure you state 5 things about this character. They must be in complete sentences with proper grammar use. The story I'm reading is the one and only Ivan. 5 things about Ivan the gorilla are, and then I would name 5 things. I'm not going to name them because I want you to actually read this story if you haven't already, because the one and only Ivan's a great story. Alright, and here are your assignments that you're responsible for Monday, May 18th. Grammar 4.3.3. Your theme worksheet, which we just went over. Your reading log, which we just went over. That is on Schoology. There are going to be more assignments on Wednesday, May the 20th, 2020, which is also the birth date of Reese Lindsay. Maybe it'll be a special day that day for her. There will be a couple assignments. One of them is going to be your reading log on Schoology. Another is going to be your vocabulary worksheet that we went over a little bit today. And the other is actually going to be another Google Form worksheet, close read. Make things easier for you. And then next week we will end Module 8 with a practice test. All right, so good luck. Make sure you're handing in your best work, and make sure everything you're giving me is obviously Mr. Key. This is the best I can do. I could do no better than this. Have a day.